Soul Simmers, and welcome to episode 13 of the Builders Bootcamp. Today we're going to dive into pools, fountains, and ponds. Ponds are actually quite new in the game. They were added with cottage living, and before that we only had pools and fountains. All three work slightly different. You can decorate them differently. They have different functions in game, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's hop right into it. To make it a little bit more convenient on all of us, I already placed down all of the three options that we have in the game. The first one that you see is an actual pool, the second one is a fountain, and the third one is a pond. As you can see that the pool and the fountain look quite similar and the pond looks vastly different from the other two. I will show you how you can create all of these, I will show you what the differences are, how you can decorate them, etc. So first off, we start with pools and fountains. They don't only look similar, but you can also find them in the same place in the menu. Both of them are down here where it says pools and fountains. You see four icons on the side. The first one is pools, the second one is the pool trim, so that's the border that goes around the pool. Then the third one is the fountains, and then the fourth one is the fountain trim. Good to know is you cannot use a fountain trim on a pool, but you can use a pool trim on a fountain to make it, ever so slightly confusing. The reason you cannot use a fountain trim on a pool is because all of the fountain trims have like a little border above, like it's a little step up, and then the pool wouldn't be functional. But all of the pool trims are flat, so you are able to use them around a fountain. That's actually where we already touched upon the difference between a pool and a fountain. A pool is actually functional, your sim will be able to swim in this body of water, and a fountain is purely decorative. Apart from that, they look the same, you can draw them the same, only the borders and the function is different. This is specifically good to keep in mind whenever you want to make, let's say, a nice back garden with a large pool with a fountain and everything, and you want to make certain areas swimmable for your sims and other areas you want them to look like pools but maybe not be accessible with maybe like fountains in it or anything. This way you can achieve that. By using pools and fountains together, you can decide where your sims will be able to swim and where they won't. As soon as you select the pond tool or the fountain tool for that matter, you see very similar things to when you were drawing walls. You can draw them in a square, you can draw them by like clicking and then making the pointies. You can place pre-made little pool rooms, and it's actually very similar to the platforms and the wall drawing that we did all the way back in episode 1 or 2, I believe it was. And this is just how you can make pools. I quite often use these whenever I want to make custom shapes, but to be fair, making a pool, I usually just do that. And as you can see, as soon as I draw one, it also connects them, so that way you can make fun shapes or forms with the pools. If you click on the fountain tool, it will look exactly the same, but with a white border to indicate that it's the fountain tool. As you can see, as soon as you place a fountain, it doesn't add the higher border. So you can also have a fountain without the tall border around it, but if you want to add it, you can do it like this. Then we move on to creating a pond. A pond is slightly different from a fountain and a pool because you need to go to the terrain tool for this. You need to grab the one to lower the terrain to sort of make a hole in the ground. You just click it, you hold it to make a hole in the ground. And then there is a new tool that was added with the cottage living update, and that is the water tool. As soon as you click this, you are able to just click and add water with the first one. You can also lower the water if you think that it was too high. You can fill it to a certain height. This is fairly similar to the train tool. As you can see, you can increase the height with the slider as you're used to. If you do this, it's going to say, like, if it's going to be too high up, it's going to say that you cannot do it because you need to have that hole in the ground. Water can only go up until like the base level of the lot. So if you want to add more water, you need to make sure that the entire lot is lowered. And if you want to get rid of all of the water, you can just click this and just click in the water, and then all of the water will be gone. Okay, so now that you know how to draw a pool, a fountain, and a pond, it's time to start with the decorating and how you can make it look like you want it to look. So for that, we go to this one. It's called Outdoor Water Decor, and it contains everything for the pools, the ponds, and the fountains. As soon as you click on this, the first tab will actually give you all of the water type options. Depending on which expansion packs you have, you will see more or less in here, but there are actually quite a few in the base game, so you can make your pond green. I very much like to use this color on my pools, the one from Get Together, because I think it just looks really beautiful. It looks very realistic. It gives the water like a nice depth. I know that you can add some like leaves and stuff to your fountains as well. You can use the red water. Some of these waters actually have a different effect on your sims. Like the ones from Jungle Adventure, you have the hot spring, and it's actually a warm pool. So if you add this water to your pools in the winter, your sims will be able to swim in the pool in the winter without freezing or getting cold, because this water is naturally warm. So make sure to read all of the descriptions, because some of the waters actually stink and your sims will complain about the smell from the pool as well. The second tab is for pond objects, and this is basically everything that you can place in a pond, and it will actually have a function. For instance, if you place the water lily patch, it will actually have fish swimming underneath them. To be fair, you are able to add these to pools and fountains as well. However, not all of the objects might function. If you have the fishing sign, I believe it only works with a pond, so your Sims will actually be able to fish in this pond. I don't think if you add it to fountains or a pool that your Sims will be able to fish in those. So keep in mind that these are technically pond items and they are supposed to be used with the pond tool. The next one is fountain decorations, and this is actually the part that came with the fountains before we had ponds. So sometimes you might see things in here like these like water grass or water leaves. You can also use them like other lily pads and stuff. You can also use them again on the pools and the ponds. It's kind of questionable which belongs where, but I just tend to check both of them and just know that the pond objects very often only work in the pond. To be fair, this is kind of a fountain and it works in a fountain as well. So just, you know, experiment with this, place it wherever you want. This is one of those parts of the Sims catalog that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I can try to make it make sense by explaining it to you guys in a video. But to be fair, let's just say that it doesn't make any sense. Good to know is that here you can also find all of the water emitters. Make sure to read, you have the small dome water emitter. You have the spraying water emitter, but you also have like a large jet water emitter. The size is mentioned in the title, and this kind of indicates whether, you know, literally the water coming out of it will be very tall or smaller. And if you want to make a very dynamic pond or anything, it's very nice to add like different sized water emitters, because that way the water won't all be the same height and it will look a little bit more dynamic. Here you can also find things as the glow lights, so the lights that will actually work in the pool. You can also find the prefab fountains in here. They are in the fountain decoration section. You can even add this inside of a fountain that you made yourself, so you can get super creative with this. And I would absolutely love to see what you guys make of this. So feel free to like tag me on TikTok or Twitter or anything. If you see something that people get creative with stuff like this, or if you get creative with it yourself, feel free to tag me, because I would absolutely love to see all of your creations. Then the fourth tab is actually pool objects. So as you can see, The Sims tried to sort this. They have like the pond, the fountain, and the pool objects, so all three bodies of water have their own category. The problem is they're kind of interchangeable in where you can use them, but hey, at least they tried, you know? But these are all objects that are also functional in a pool. So here you can find the pool floaties, you can find the famous pool ladder that unfortunately in The Sims 4, if you take it away, your Sims won't drown. Your Sims got smarter, they now know how to get out of the pool, but you can still add the pool ladder and they will use it. You can find some more pool lights and stuff in here. So that is what you can find in the pool section. And then very last but not least, we have pond effects. And this is something that I believe only works on the ponds from Cottage Living. And in build mode, this looks really strange. If you add this, you might think, what the heck is this? Actually, if you go into live mode, this will transform into some sort of a live animation and you will see little ducks swimming in the pond. And this will actually add fireflies above your pond. If you do this, there will be fish swimming in the pond. If you do this, yes, there will be mosquitoes and your Sims will not like them. It will transform into animations as soon as you go into live mode. So feel free to place this around your lot. You can, I believe, even place the fireflies and stuff above ground. If you do the fish, it's not like the fish are going to be swimming in the ground. So keep in mind that not all of these work, but I know that the fireflies also work around bushes and stuff. Then a very neat little trick that I have for pools and fountains is that you can actually change the flooring and the wallpaper inside of the pool. So if you go like one level below, you will actually see that you can see the pool very well. You can go into the wallpaper menu. Also, don't mind my game being a little bit blurry at places. It is my reshader. If I turn it off, my game, you know, it looks better in the menu, but the game just looks a little bit sad. So I tend to turn my reshader on. But for some reason, as soon as I go to basements, the menu gets really blurry. You know, just ignore that. My game works fine. But as you can see, we can actually pick a wallpaper, and I shouldn't pick the one that is already there because then you won't be able to see it. But we can add different colors of wallpaper, and this will actually, above ground, give your pool a whole different look. You can also do this with the flooring, so you can grab a darker tile and actually make the floor darker. And as you can see, it also really transforms the way that the water looks in the pool. So you can add basically any wallpaper and any flooring. If you wish, you can add carpet in your pools. I mean, go nuts, just do it. But this totally transforms the way that your pools look, and this also works on fountains. Obviously, a fountain is a lot less deep, so you can add a flooring and you can add a wallpaper, but it will be less visible from the top simply because the wallpaper is less visible. But as you can see, it does really change, especially the vibrance or the hue of the water that is in the pond. So that's a very nice trick if you want to make your pools look a little bit more personalized. You can also do the same with the pond and using the terrain paint. So as soon as you grab this dirt, you can actually paint the inside of the pond to also give it a little bit more of a dynamic look. It will actually change the way the pond looks. If you want to make the pond look a little bit more human-made, you can even change the inside of the pond to sort of have tiles or stone in it. And this way you can make a very nice, maybe like shadowing or dynamic into your ponds and your pools and your fountains. That was actually it for the episode on ponds, fountains, and pools, because it's actually not that difficult. The reason I still wanted to make a separate episode out of this is because it can get a little confusing what you can use for what, and hopefully I clarified that a little bit with this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful to you in any way, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the video get to more people. And if you want to see more videos like this or any of my other videos that I make about The Sims 4, don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell. And then I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!